Morning.
Today we're going to talk about reduced adjective clauses. Last week we talked about adjective clauses. So this week we're going to talk about reduced adjective clauses. That's when we take out some words from the adjective clause to make it shorter and more compact. Now, why would you want to use reduced adjective clauses in your writing? Well, it's pretty much the same reason you want to use adjective clauses. Instead of using a series of short, simple sentences, you can pack more meaning and incorporate more clauses into a single, longer sentence, and this will give you more variety in your sentence structure, and your writing will flow much more nicely. Okay, so let's take an example. All right, I want you to listen to this and tell me how many sentences you hear. Andreas Gursky was a German photographer. He was born in 1959. He was known for his digitally manipulated photographs. The photographs were in the minimalist style. How many sentences did you hear?
4.
Okay. All right, but what if I say Andreas Gursky, a German photographer born in 1959, was known for his digitally manipulated photographs in the minimalist style? How many sentences did you hear?
1.
Okay. Which sounded better, the 4 sentences or the single?
Second one.
Yeah, so that's why we should use, and you can use, reduced adjective clauses to avoid choppy sounding writing when you use a series of short, simple sentences. And now that you're becoming more sophisticated in your writing, you can use longer and more complicated sentences by incorporating RACs. So we'll be referring to reduced adjective clauses as RACs in this lesson just because it's such a mouthful. Okay, so let's review. What's a clause? What do we need for a clause?
Subject and a verb.
Okay, right, okay. Is every clause a complete sentence?
No.
What's an adjective clause?
Describes a noun.
Okay, so adjective clause is a clause that describes a noun. Does it have a subject and verb?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So look at the sentence and read it to yourself silently. Do you see an adjective clause in this sentence?
Yes.
I see one adjective.
One adjective clause?
Yes.
Okay, Jeremy, what is the adjective clause?
That was suggested for weight loss.
Okay, that were suggested for weight loss. Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does everyone agree? Okay. What is this adjective clause describing?
Treatment.
Okay. Treatments. All right. Now, let's look at the verb. Let's look at the verb form in this adjective clause. What's the verb form, the complete verb form?
Participle.
Okay, but first, just tell me what the verb is.
Suggested.
Or suggested.
We're suggested. Okay, we're suggested. What kind of verb is that? What verb form is that?
Participle.
Okay, but first tell me.
Passive.
Passive, good. Okay, passive. It's a passive verb form, all right? So how do we form the passive? Do you remember? What is this word called?
Helping word.
Helping verb. Okay. Good. How about this word?
Passive.
Participle.
Okay, let's all say past participle.
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 Okay, so past participle. Okay. So this is a reduced adjective clause using the passive. Let's see. Let's think about this. Okay, are there any words that I can take out of the adjective clause?
That
That
word.
word.
That
That
word.
Okay, that word, so we'll take that out. Now let's see, Ying, can you read the sentence to us without that word?
Treatments suggested for weight loss include a 5-hour surgery to remove a part of the stomach.
Okay, good. So the sentence is correct without that word. So we got rid of some of the words, and now we have a reduced adjective clause. An adjective clause that we've shortened by taking out some of the words that we don't need. Okay. What about if I take out this entire reduced adjective clause? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's still a complete sentence. It's still a correct sentence, right? What's the subject of the sentence?
Treatment.
What's the verb?
Include.
Okay, great. All right. Passives. Reduced adjective clause using passives, and this is our new sentence. Okay, let's try another example. Let's see. Kai, can you read this to us?
Clients were asked to report any defects that were discovered in the software.
Okay. So everyone read it silently to yourself and think about this. Is there an adjective clause
Yeah.
in this sentence? Okay, everyone think about this. Okay. All right. What's the adjective clause?
That were discovered in the software.
Good. And what's the verb form?
Passive.
Passive.
Passive. Okay, past passive, right? But we can just say passive for now, because it would work with present passive or past passive. And do you know that there are 16 different passive verb forms? Did you know that?
16.
There are 16 different passive verb forms. So just keep in mind that we can make adjective clauses with any of those passive verb forms, okay? In this case, past passive. Tell me what the verb is. Tell me what the verb is in this sentence. In the adjective clause. What's the verb, the complete verb?
Word.
Yeah.
Okay, great, okay. Do you think we can remove anything from that adjective clause?
No.
That word.
That's word we can take out.
Oh, well, let's try it, okay? Now, can you read the sentence to me, Kaki, loudly, please?
Clients were asked to report any defects discovered in the software.
Good, okay, how did that sound? Was that correct?
Yes.
Yes, it was, okay, so we've made another reduced adjective clause using the passive.
I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Were asked to is also a adjective clause, right?
Okay, let's think about that. What's the subject of this sentence?
Clients.
Okay, that's the subject. What's the verb?
Were asked.
Were asked.
Ask.
Were asked.
We're asked.
Were asked.
And Xuan, you pointed out that this is what
Report.
form?
Passive.
Okay. So here, were asked is a passive form, but it's actually the main verb of the sentence. Subject and verb. And actually, I was going to point that out, so I'm glad you asked that. So this example was meant to be a little bit tricky, okay? And that was good that you spotted that. Does everybody understand that? Like, we can have passives in other parts of the sentence. Sentences can be really long, and in this case, the subject and the verb, the main verb of the sentence is a passive form. Got it?
Oh, I see.
Okay, and then of course, then there's another passive form in the adjective clause. All right, good. Okay, all right, so now what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to come up and underline, we have two different sentences here. Underline the adjective clause in the sentence and circle the noun that it modifies. Okay, so let's see. So let's have Xuan and Ying, since you're both right in front. Okay, Xuan, you can do number one. Underline the adjective clause and then circle the noun that it describes. Okay, and yes? Okay. Okay. All right, Ying. Okay, so let's look at the first one. So Shuen says that designed by Tokyo architect Fumihiko Maki is an adjective clause. Okay? And the adjective clause describes completion of the building. Can we choose one word in here?
Compilation.
Okay, let's choose a word that this adjective clause describes. What was designed by the architect? What was designed?
The building.
The building, okay? So do you want to change that?
Oh.
Okay, good. So he circled a noun phrase, the building. All right. Now, Shuen, if we wanted to put back some of the words in here, if we wanted to make an adjective clause, now it's a reduced adjective clause because some words got taken out. If we want to put those words back in, what would you put in?
That was designed by Tokyo architect.
Okay, where's your marker? Go ahead and put that in there. All right, and once again, what verb form are we using here in the adjective clause? Anyone? I can hear you saying it.
As a passive.
Past passive, good, okay. All right, now let's look at number two. Any ideas about this? Yeah, Kai.
I think that the down in Europe. Down.
Okay, so you think done in Europe is what?
Additive.
Uh-huh.
Reduce additive clause.
Okay, you think that's the RAC. All right, and what noun do you think? Do you want to come up and show us? Do you want to come up and underline the reduced adjective clause and then circle the noun that it describes? Okay, okay, so. All right, there. Okay. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? Okay. What's the verb form in the,
As
okay.
a passive.
All right, so it's past passive, and if we wanted to put back a word in here, what would it be?
That was down.
Was.
in Europe.
That was done, okay? So this might be a little tricky just because, what do we call this word again in the passive form?
Past participle.
Yes, past participle. So this might be a little tricky just because it's an irregular past participle, right? With a regular past participle, we have ed, but here it's like done, all right? Okay. Good. Let's move on. Okay, now let's read these two sentences. Read these two sentences to yourself. Okay, Jeremy, can you read these two sentences to us? Read both of them one after the other.
A search of article revealed that little attention has been paid to the topic.
Mm-hmm.
The articles were written in recent years.
Okay, good. All right. Are these sentences about the same topic?
Yeah.
What's the topic?
Article.
Good, okay. Does this sound a little repetitive to you? If you had these two sentences, forget about 1 and 2. What if you had these two sentences in your essay? Do they sound a little repetitive?
And combine these into one sentence.
Yes, we can probably combine these. They're about the same topic, articles, right? And it sounds a little repetitive the way it is. How can we, first of all, do you see an adjective clause in here somewhere?
Were written in recent years.
Good, okay, were written in recent years. Can we take that adjective clause and put it into the other sentence?
Yes.
How shall we do that? Where shall we put it in?
A search of articles.
Who were written in the recent year.
Okay, let's think about that. A search of articles.
Written in recent years. Revealed.
Okay, so you're taking out were, right?
Yeah.
You're taking out the helping verb. And where did you want to put it?
After the article.
After the articles. Okay, now let's see. Yin, can you read the sentence to us now with the reduced adjective clause?
A search of articles written in recent years revealed that little attention has been paid to the topic.
Okay, so we can combine sentences. We don't need to use so many short sentences, and it sounds much better when we do combine them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And there's our sentence. Reduced adjective clause using the passive verb form. Okay, let's just do one more. I want everybody to work on, you can even write this down in your notebook. I want everyone to work on combining these two sentences. Okay, does anyone have it?
Yeah.
You all have it?
Yeah.
Aaron, do you have it?
No.
Okay, let's wait a second for Aaron. He hasn't spoken yet, or maybe he has actually. Okay, Aaron, do you want to come up here and show us what we need to do? First of all, Aaron, can you circle the adjective clause?
Okay.
I just think there's more to it, more. It includes that.
This?
Okay, that's a reduced adjective clause. Good, okay, that's a reduced adjective clause. And where do you want to put it? Okay, great. Can you read it to us?
So supplied
Spoiled.
the spoiled food sent many of the restaurant the spoiled food prepared by Inexperienced chefs send many of the restaurant's customers to the hospital with food
Poisoning?
poisoning.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. All right, so this is a reduced adjective clause. What form of the verb does it use?
Pass.
Passive, right? What's the complete passive verb here? So we know that prepared is what? Do you remember the ed form?
Regular.
Yeah, regular. Good. Regular.
Past participle.
Past-
participle.
Past participle. Okay. What's the complete passive verb here?
Had been prepared.
Oh, good. Okay. So I told you there are 16 passives. So this is the past perfect passive. Okay. So watch out for those sneaky passives. All right. And okay, very good. So are you getting it now? Do you think you're getting this?
Yes.
Good. All right. Everybody? Does everybody think we're getting it? Yep. Okay, everybody's nodding for the video. Okay. Congratulations, you've just mastered reduced adjective clauses with passive verb forms. Whoa. Okay, now we're going to go on. Take a deep breath. Okay. All right.
Sally.
RAC2, okay? We're going on to another form of reduced adjective clauses. Okay, so this is a different form of RAC. Okay, does anyone see, and you'll just be guessing now, because we didn't really go into this before. Can you guess what the adjective clause is here? First of all, it's not reduced yet. It's a complete adjective clause, and it describes, as you know, what does an adjective clause do?
Describe subject.
It describes, actually it could be the subject, but it describes a noun
A noun.
or a noun phrase, okay? So do you see any adjective clause in here? First of all, there's some kind of clues.
Who is currently working in 3 different locations?
Oh, okay. Okay, all right. So that's the adjective clause. What is that adjective clause describing?
An executive.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. Do you notice anything different about this adjective clause? What's different about this adjective clause? Different from the first, where we use the passive form. Do you see any passive form here? No. What do we have here?
Program.
Okay, can you tell me? Okay, Kai said it was progressive. Which verb? What's the verb?
Is working.
Okay, is working. Very good. So this is a progressive form, and how do we know it's a progressive form?
Current.
Okay, somebody said ing.
ING.
Who said that? Mona? Yay, very good. All right. So this is the progressive form, the ing form of the passive. Not the passive, of the adjective clause, of the verb in the adjective clause. Okay, so now can we reduce this adjective clause? Once again, reduce means what?
Cut down.
Yep, taking something out. Yep, what can we take out?
Working. This is a cream.
Who said who is? Yes, very good. Now, Jeremy, loudly, very loudly, can you read that sentence without who is?
Sally, exclusive, currently working in the 3 different locations, spends much of her time traveling.
Okay, good. How do we say this word? Everyone?
Executive.
Executive.
Yes.
Okay, so,
Exactly.
yes. Now by taking out who is, we've created a reduced adjective clause with the ing form of the verb. And And there it is, reduced adjective clause, RAC2 with the ing form. All right, we're moving a little faster now. Let's try and do our combining trick, combining two sentences to give you a longer, more complicated sentence that sounds smooth, okay? Do you see anything? Are these sentences about the same topic? Let's just read these. Aaron, can you read these sentences to us?
The doctors reported some positive changes. The positive changes resulted from the programs had started.
Okay.
They had started.
All right, good. Does that sound a little repetitive to you?
The positive changes.
Okay, so positive changes was repeated, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we don't want to be repetitive. We want to write a long, beautiful sentence. How can we do that? And, what can we do there? So, where do you see an adjective clause here?
Resulted from the programs they had started.
Okay, now, we can change resulted to resulting, okay? We can change resulted to resulting. And now, this is your reduced adjective clause, right? Let's all repeat after me. Resulting from the programs they had started. Resulting from the programs they had started. All right. Reduced adjective clause using the ing form of the verb. Where are we going to put it? Let's put it in the first sentence.
After positive changes.
All right. Okay, Xuan, can you read it to us now?
Okay, the doctors reported some positive changes resulting from the programs they had started.
Okay. And here we are. Reduced adjective clause, RAC2 with an ing form of the verb. Okay, so just pretend that all these words are inside the yellow box. All right, so you see a lot of phrases here. Now the ing form, these phrases using the ing form of the verb can be used in a lot of different reduced adjective clauses, okay? And these are great academic phrases, great academic words, and they'll be very, very useful for your writing. So these are powerful words. Let's just go around and read each of these. So Xuan,
Arising from.
Kaki, I mean Kai,
Relate.
okay, and Jeremy,
Concerning.
Mona, good, Aaron,
Consisting of.
Kaki,
Resulting from.
Yang,
Containing.
Xuan,
Corresponding to.
and Kai.
Involving.
Okay. So here we see 3 different examples, sentences with examples of RAC2, the ing form of the verb. Okay? So I want you to come up here and let's see, let's have Kaki and Kai and Jeremy. I want you to come up here and underline the RACs using the ing form of the verb, and then circle the noun that they describe, okay? So first you have to stand up. And we have plenty of markers here. let's look at these. Okay, let's start with the bottom one. Does everyone agree with this?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the ing form of the verb?
Relating.
Relating. And what does your reduced adjective clause describe? Sources. Good. All right, everyone agree with that?
Yeah.
Let's go to this one. What's the reduced adjective clause with the ing form of the verb?
Involving.
Involving,
Just still and jurors.
okay, what noun is it describing?
The case.
Okay, the case. Okay, let's go to this one. What's your reduced adjective clause?
Consisting of species that
Should we include, is that, okay, let's look at closely at the reduced ad. This one is a little tricky. Okay, so we know consisting, and then how much should we keep there for reduced adjective clause using the ing form? Consisting of,
species.
oh, so you don't want to put in that? Is
Yeah.
that, okay, okay. What does consisting of species describe? Which noun?
Vegetation.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay, because the vegetation consists of species that are found in Southeast Asia, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense to everyone? So shall we erase this? Okay, so we can see that just like the RACs with passives, RACs with ing forms of the verb, your adjective clauses come directly after the noun that they describe, right?
Sam, I have a question.
Sure.
So that are found in Southeast Asia is described vegetation too.
Yeah, okay, so you always ask questions about the part that I forgot. All right, so what do you want to tell us? Do you want to tell us something, Shwen, about that are found in Southeast Asia?
It's a cows describe vegetation.
Well, let's think about that. Well, actually, it's not reduced yet. It's not reduced.
Yeah.
It's an adjective clause, right? Okay, and Kai, what did you say? It describes species, okay? So this adjective clause here actually describes species, okay?
Species.
Now, what kind of adjective clause is it? Is it an ing?
Passive.
Okay, it's an adjective clause using the passive form of the verb, okay? How can we make this a reduced adjective clause?
We can take out that are.
Okay, take out that and take out the helping verb, and now we just have what? What was this called again?
Plus participle.
Yeah, past participle. Everyone past participle.
Plus participle.
Okay. All right, so we actually have, oh, well, I think I'll just keep that there. So we actually have two different RACs, one after the other, right? The first one with the ing form of the verb, and the second one with the passive form. So you can just build your sentences in this way. We could even make this sentence much longer and more complicated than it is, but did everyone, okay, Shwen's writing this down.
Okay.
I actually can send you this PowerPoint also later if you like. All right, is everyone still with me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, let's do our little, guess what we're going to do with this? Actually, we've already kind of done this. Okay, so let's quickly do this. This is just a little review now because we just did this. In number one, what is the reduced adjective clause?
Consisting mainly of serious.
Okay, what kind of reduced, what does it use? Does it use a passive? No, it uses,
ing.
and what is the ing verb here?
Consisting.
Okay, and then what does the RAC describe? Okay, so we can say the local population or we can say the population. So it's just a difference between the noun and the noun phrase, okay? Whichever way you want to look at it. The next one, what's our adjective, reduced adjective clause?
Involving many people.
Good. And what does that RAC with the ing verb describe? Okay, software project. All right, I think we can just move along here. Okay, this is our little combining trick here. This is our little combining trick. Combine the sentences. Let's see, Mona, can you read the sentences to us loudly?
The customer are not just here to send packets. The customer are waiting in the line at the German post office.
Good, okay. Can anyone combine those? Where do you see the adjective clause?
The customer are waiting in line at German post office.
Okay, so the adjective clause is in that second sentence. Which part of the sentence is the adjective clause?
Waiting in line at German post office.
Good. Okay, where should I put that? I should put it after
The customers,
in the first sentence?
yeah.
Okay. All right. Does everyone agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Kai, can you read the sentence without?
The customers waiting in line at the German post office are not just there to send packages.
Good. All right, now I want to challenge you a little bit. Can you come up with a rule for combining these sentences? What would we do first if you wrote these two sentences in your essay and then you thought, geez, that sounds kind of repetitive, and I know we learned how to combine sentences to make longer, more complicated, beautiful sentences that flow and pack more information into a single sentence. What's the first thing we would do that we already did today? So we should look here and we should see what's repeated, right? Okay, so that's the first thing we should do. What's repeated here?
Customers.
Customers are
Good, yeah, the customers. And then what do we look for next? So when I usually say to you, can you find,
Work.
okay, hold on there. Yes, you're getting there, you're jumping ahead.
We should take out the helping word.
Okay, but first we're gonna look for what?
The adjective clause.
Yeah, we're gonna look for the adjective clause. And then what are we going to do to it? Yuan, Xuan,
Take
you
the helping word.
take out the helping verb. And then what are we going to do? Now we've reduced it, right? What are we gonna do with the reduced adjective clause?
Put after the noun
Which noun?
and the customers.
Why?
Because the adjective clauses describe the noun.
Describes the noun. Yeah, the customers. Okay, very good. And there's your sentence. The customers waiting in line at German post offices are not just there to send packages. Okay, before I congratulate you, let's just do one more. Okay, let's just do one more. Everyone, write it down. Actually, I don't want to take too much time on the video. So who can just come up here? Ying, can you come up here and draw our little lines and arrows and circles and show us how we can, what do we want to do with these two? Of course we want to what?
Redo.
Combine them, yes. Okay? You can have a little thinking time, but
Sure.
and we can help her too. Ying, why don't you come up here and we'll all help her because we just
The
started.
period.
Area.
The period.
Period.
Is it repeat? Yeah, repeat.
In the beginning?
Beginning. The period. The beginning.
Okay, so they're saying that the period is repeated.
Yes.
So that's why we have this little problem of this sounding repetitive. So what can we do to keep this from sounding repetitive? So what do we look for first, everyone? We're trying to find what? Well, go ahead. Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
beginning, well,
And do you think I could
Do you think she should add it where? Where she's pointing? After? Let's try it. Let's try it. Okay. So now, Ying, can you read this? Can you read the sentence to us now that you've done that?
The writer, in referring to the period beginning roughly 40,000 years ago in Europe, when people started making a wider variety of cures.
Okay, what do you think? Is that right? Is that what we want to do? So why don't you cross something out here so that in the second sentence, maybe you need to cross something out because we're getting a little confused. Something you didn't use. Yeah, good. Okay. Now, how does that sound? Copy, is it correct?
Yeah, I think
Yes, very good. Okay, all right. Okay. Congratulations, you've just learned reduced adjective clauses with the ing verb form. All right. Okay, actually, I think that, okay, great. All right, I'm just going to end the video right here. Class, we talked about reduced adjective clauses, and we talked about two different kinds of reduced adjective clauses. Do you remember what they were?
I is using passive form and
Yeah.
I is using ing verb form.
Okay, using passive forms and ing forms of the verb. All right, and I gave you some homework to come up with your own sentences using those two kinds of RACs with ing verb forms and passive verb forms. And let's see, Lily and Ada, you had those sentences. So Lily, why don't you read us your sentence and tell us what kind of RAC is in that sentence?
In the dark room of MoMA, Nan Goldin uses a slideshow consisting of 700 snapshots to present her life with its own soundtrack to viewers. So this is the RAC ing verb form.
Okay, RACs with ing verbs. And tell us the ing verb that you used, or the reduced adjective clause?
I use the consisting of
Consisting of what?
of 700 snapshots.
Okay, great. Okay, Ada, so you must have the other one, which is,
I have the RAC with passive form.
good.
And the sentence I have is Yao Ming, born in Shanghai, is basketball in NBA now.
Okay, and what is your RAC with passive form?
Is born in Shanghai.
Born in Shanghai. Okay, great. So today we're going to talk about a third form of RAC, and actually this is the easiest RAC form of all. So let's take a look at this. All right, so let's see, Hayin, can you read this sentence to me? Aaron.
Aaron is the student who is wearing the unusual suits.
Okay, so this is a fine sentence. It sounds, is this correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine sentence. But we might want to streamline it. So if we want to shorten it, condense it, what can we do? Have any ideas? Okay, so I've changed this to, Lily, can you read this?
Aaron is the student with the unusual shoes.
All right. What have I done to condense that sentence?
Remove the who's to with.
Okay, so I took out the who is and I replaced it with. What kind of word is that, with?
Preposition.
Preposition. It's a preposition. Okay. So we're talking about RAC number 3, reduced adjective clauses with prepositions. Okay, Ada, can you read this?
The box under my desk contains many
Precious.
precious photos.
Do you see any prepositions in this sentence? Under, yeah. So under is a preposition. By the way, can you give me some other examples of prepositions? What are some other prepositions? In,
That.
at, on, over, across, under. Okay, there's lots of them, right? Some prepositions even have 2 or 3 words, believe it or not. But, so let's just look at this preposition. Now, if I underline this whole phrase, do you know what that's called? That's a prepositional phrase. And it's made up of the preposition under my desk. Do you know what we call desk? We call that the object of the preposition. Okay? So preposition plus object of preposition. And that's a prepositional phrase. And that is RAC number 3, prepositional phrases. Now, last time when we did RAC number 1 and RAC number 2, we saw that there are some words that are taken out of this. If we had to put some words back in here, what do you think they could be? If we put some words right here.
That is.
Yes, good. Okay, I almost just wrote it in there, but thank you for saying that. Okay, the box that is under my desk contains many precious photos. But if we take that out, can you see how this sounds more streamlined, more condensed? The box under my desk contains many precious photos. All right, now let's unpack this sentence. If you had to make this into 2 sentences, what would they be? The box is. Remember how we combined sentences but then we took them apart?
The box contains many precious photos.
Mm-hmm. How about the other sentence?
The box is under my desk.
Okay, actually I should have you guys come up here and write this down, but okay. So, the box contains many precious photos. The box is under my desk. If you had that in a descriptive essay, does this sound good? What sounds better, this or this? So listen to me read this. I'll read the first one. The box under my desk contains many precious photos. Okay? The box contains many precious photos. The box is under my desk. What sounded better, 1 or 2? 1, yeah. It's condensed, it's streamlined. There's no need to repeat. We can avoid that problem of being repetitious, right? And even if you said it, the box contains many precious photos. It is under my desk. Still, what sounds better, 1 or 2? 1, yeah. Okay, so this is why we do this, to make our writing flow better and not be so choppy, right? Okay, so there you see the two sentences. Okay, so I just played around with this and I started adding some words in because we could do that. And I wrote, the box under my folding desk contains many precious photos given to me by my aunt. And I want to ask you, how many sentences can we break that into? So I tried breaking that down, and if I could find it here. Just guess, how many sentences do you think I can break that down into? Like before I broke that box sentence into two other sentences, how many sentences do you think I can make this into?
3.
So maybe 3? Okay, so listen. The box is under my desk. It is a folding desk. It contains many precious photos. They were given to me by my aunt. How many sentences did you hear? 4, yeah. And actually I meant to tell you that I added words like folding, an adjective made out of an ing word, the folding desk. Instead of saying it is a folding desk, I just made this into an adjective describing desk, right? So it's really nice when you can combine your sentences into a nice, a bit complicated, but a very nice single sentence using a reduced adjective clause with a prepositional phrase, okay? Okay, so let's try it. So I want you to try it now. First, let's read this. Lily, will you read both of these sentences, one after the other?
The garden has been well cared for, and it's filled with flowers and vegetables. The garden is behind the house.
Okay, do we have a little bit of repetition here? What's repeated?
Garden.
The garden, yeah. And, well, we don't really like to have repetition like that. So I'd like you all to try to combine these sentences using a prepositional phrase. Do you see a preposition here anywhere?
Behind.
Behind, yeah, good. Okay, so how can we combine these? Any ideas?
The garden behind the house.
Here, why don't you come up and show us, Lily?
Just write the whole sentences.
You can circle things and put arrows in. Okay, good. Okay, so the garden behind the house has been well cared for and is filled with flowers and vegetables. That sounds much better than the two sentences, right? And let's see, if we had to make rules to combine these sentences, how would we do that? What would we do first? What would we do first? What did I do first?
Find the same part first.
Find,
The common noun.
yeah, the nouns that are in common, the noun that's repeated, right? So we saw garden, and then what did we look for next?
The preposition.
Preposition or prepositional phrase, and what is the preposition? Yep, and what's the prepositional phrase?
Behind the house.
Behind the house, yeah. So we found that, and what did we do with that? What did we do with that prepositional phrase? Where did we put it?
After the subject, the noun.
Okay, it's after a noun, and it's after a particular noun. Remember, what do RACs do? What do reduced adjective clauses do? What's their function or their relationship to the noun?
Describe the noun.
Yeah, they describe a noun. So we take the RAC3 with prepositional phrase and we put it directly, immediately after the noun that it describes, right? So that's our formula there. That's our set of rules for combining these two sentences. Okay, one last example. Ada, can you read these sentences loudly, please?
We are studying behavior in animals. These animals have complex nervous system.
Okay, so Ada, can you come up here and show us how we should do our little combining trick here, since we don't want to be repetitious, right? So we want to get these two sentences together. What should we look for first?
Animals here.
Right.
And the preposition is behavior. Oh, we are studying behavior or behavior in animals.
Oh, actually, this is a little bit tricky. This is a little bit tricky. This is a little bit different than the ones we did before. Okay, so remember Aaron, the boy with the unusual shoes? Let's use the preposition with. What can we do with with?
With behaviors.
Hmm?
With behaviors.
Let's.
Oh, no. These animals.
So it's something in the second sentence.
These animals.
Does anyone want to help? How can we make a prepositional phrase describing animals?
What is the number?
With, you're getting close.
Complex
Yeah, loudly, Hein. With.
complex nervous system.
Okay, so do you think you can go ahead and do that, Ada?
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. But we have to get this, something here, that was good, something here into there, so, because we're combining them.
So you put the complex nervous system animals here.
Yeah.
First of all, why don't we circle the, good. Okay, so that's our reduced adjective clause, right? Where shall we put it?
In here.
Okay, good. Can you read the sentence to us?
We are studying behavior in animals with complex nervous system.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. I think that's our last example here today. Okay, so let's just recap a little bit. What did we learn? What did we learn? What structure did we learn about, like, in the last 2 days, today and yesterday? Okay, louder.
To reduce adjective clauses.
Yeah, we learned how to reduce adjective clauses. First we learned about adjective clauses about a couple weeks ago. And in the last couple days, we learned how to reduce them, to make them reduced adjective clauses, or RACs. What different kinds, how many different kinds of RACs did we study? Can't hear you. Three, yeah. Can you tell me what they were? What they are?
Passive verb form.
Okay, RACs using passive verb forms. What's the next one?
Using ing verb form.
Yes, RACs using ing verb forms. And today?
Is RAC with preposition form.
Prepositional phrases. Or we could just say prepositions, okay? So once again, why do we want to use RACs? Why do we want to even do that? Is there a reason?
To pack many short sentences into one sentence.
Mm-hmm. So instead of using short, simple sentences, Andreas Gursky was a photographer. He was born in 1959. He was best known for his digitally manipulated photographs. The photographs were in the minimalist style. We can pack that all together, right? Andreas Gursky, a photographer born in 1959, was known for his digitally manipulated photographs in the minimalist style. Did you hear the prepositional phrase in there? What was it? Lily? In the minimalist style. Good, yeah. I think I also had an RAC with a passive born in 1959. Okay, great. Okay, so that wraps up our lesson on reduced adjective clauses. Does anyone have any questions?
No.
Okay, so do you think you can, going forward, you can use RACs in your writing?
Yeah.
Which one do you think will be easiest to use?
ing form.
Okay, maybe the ing form.
For me, it's the passive.
Really? Okay. How about you, Ada?
Maybe it's preposition.
Okay, so we have one for each. Yeah, that's interesting because I would have thought everyone would have said the prepositional phrase. And that all of those will be very useful to you, especially the prepositional phrases, right? Okay, so all right, so that's it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank